Hello and welcome. So today we're just going to be dealing with twin primes, and by definition twin primes are two prime numbers whose difference is 2. So these are the prime numbers that have a gap of 2, and in this task you are to develop a program that takes a list of unordered positive integers. The program should return unique combination of twin primes number given a list. And for this example, this is the list that we're gonna pass. I've already define it there, and the function should return this. Okay, so I know that the question says unique combination. So one can say that, okay, there is 5 3 and then there is 3 5, because those are still unique combination of prime numbers. We're gonna get to that as we do the question, because the way in which you can answer this question depend on how they are asked. So they can be asked a bit different. So in this case, we're just gonna first return this as a unique combination, and also use the one where we can flip. So 5 and 3 is a twin prime numbers. 3 and 5 is also a twin prime number. So if you were using an if statement and you were testing, let's say you put 5 and 3, you're supposed to say that, okay, it is a twin prime number, and if it's a 3 and a 5, and then it should still say it's a twin prime numbers. So let's get to it. So I've already defined the function, and as you can see, I'm going to break it down to two functions. One will be primes, and then the other one will be calculating twin primes. So it will be determining or returning twin primes. So I'm sure by now you should know how to write the code for prime numbers. So since I know that the result that I want, because I want to demonstrate the prime numbers that we get from the list, is a list. So I'm just gonna create an empty list and call it val. You can call it prime if you want. So I'm just gonna say for num in range. So I'm gonna use indexing. I like use indexing because it's easy to keep track of what you're doing. So I'm just gonna start from 0 since I'm using this. So it's gonna be len of list. Okay, so that's just about it. And then I'm gonna say that if num is greater than, cannot really num because now it's I'm using indexing, so it's gonna be list caps list num greater than 1. So in this case, I'm making sure that when I go inside this list, if it happens that one of the entries is 1, don't use it to divide any of the values, because we know already that if we divide any value by 1, it's going to return that number. So we know that 1 can divide all the values. So we want to exclude it should it occur that it's inside the list. Maybe I'll try to show that towards the end of the video. And then I'll say again for I in range, and again I just want to make sure that I start at 2, because like same reason as I've explained with the list now. There's no need for me to use if statement. I know for sure that prime numbers start from 2, that's for sure. And then I'm just gonna say for I in range 2, and then list now. Okay, there. So now I just need to give a statement that if something is divisible, or if a number is divisible by more than 2 numbers, you know that a prime number is supposed to be divisible by 1 or itself, right? So I'm just gonna say that if list, keep using the small list num is divisible by I and equal to 0. I just want to break the loop, so that's basically what I'm going to do, because I don't want to do anything with that. So if it happens that they are divisible, it means that I want to break that loop. I don't want the number to be divisible by any number except itself. Okay, so this in this case will be 9 primes, so I break there. Okay, and then the else statement now. Okay, we'll be closing the loop. Okay, and then say the else statement will be our result. So if it happens that it's divisible by any other number inside, or any other number for that case, because this is just a count, so this I is basically counting 1 2 3 4 and check if 1 2 for example can divide 3. If it can't, then fine. If it can divide 2, then it should break, or it shouldn't consider that a prime. So that's why we have the else. Now our result, we're going to put it inside this empty list. Append. And what are we appending? Obviously list num. So the value that we found within a specific index num, where it's so happen that it's a prime, or it's not divisible by any number before it. Okay, so this is going to be the result there. Let's just shorten this, and then we can return our val. In this case, we close and return val, which is basically a list. Okay, invalid syntax. Okay, sorry, it's here. Okay, should be fine now. So you can see that from this list we have extracted the prime numbers, which is 3 5 7 11 17 19, and from this now we want to get twin primes. So these are the numbers that when you subtract them, in this case they are just going to give you 2. Okay, and to do that, I'm not gonna code again a function that will give me prime because I've already done so. I'm just gonna call it, right? And then now I'm just gonna maybe create another empty list and call it twin or twins, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm gonna call my function. So I'm gonna call it prime. So I can't call it primes because already this is prime. It's gonna just contradict what we are coding here. So this prime I'm gonna call primes. You can go copy it there if you want to do that, because that's what I'm calling, and I'm gonna put it there. And then from there, now what I want to do is I want to go inside this prime list. Remember, prime list is basically this result that we got of prime numbers. So I'm just going to say for I in prime. Remember how a nested loop work? That's what I will be doing. So I'm just going inside this list twice, right? And I'm just going to say for j in prime. Okay, so what do I want to do now that I'm inside this? I want to check these values. So I've explained before how a nested loop is executed. You can check the previous video or the video on nested loop. I've explained that. I can simply say that if I minus j is equal to 2, meaning that this will be a prime numbers, what do I want to do? I just want to append them. So twin dot append. What am I appending? I'm appending my if you look at this, this is inside, it's a list of a list. Already I know that twin is a list, and I can just introduce the new list and say that I want them to be some kind of a pair, and I just use that as ij. Okay, too much. Okay, and then now I can close this and return twin. Okay, and if we do that, you can see that now these are going to be your twin primes, right? So I explained that. Okay, now another thing is this can be 5 and 3 is a twin prime, 3 and 5 is also a twin prime. Same thing happened here. 5 and 7 and 5 is a twin prime, and then 5 and 7 and a 5 is also a twin prime. So you can flip it, and they should always if it was some kind of a code that tells you that okay, these two are twin, it should always work whether you flip it or not. So basically whether you get a negative number or not. So in this case we can say that, okay, we want this to be absolute, so irrespective of the sign here, I want to make it positive, right? And then it will always equal to 2. And then if I run that now, you'll see that they are going to be 3 5 5 3. So even if they are flipped, you still recognize that it's a prime, it's a twin prime. So like I said, it depends on how the question is asked and how someone is using is testing your program, because they can test maybe using this. So in most cases they also give you an example that, okay, if you put this, or if this is your input, this should be a result. So you should be able to know that, okay, now I'm actually considering a case where I'm subtracting and give me only positive. All right. So like I said, the question, the original question just wanted you to print them, like print, not in a list. It's easy, same thing as we've done here. You could have I'm just gonna call it again here and say prime, right? And the code is basically still the same. I'm just gonna copy this. Hopefully the indentation will still be right. I'm just gonna copy this until let's say here. Okay, and okay, yeah, so let's copy that until there. Hopefully the indentation will be right. And in this case, I'm just gonna say print I j. Okay, and then let's see there. So this is how it will print like. So these will be your twin primes. If you just wanted, like the example that I saw, they just wanted you to print them just as like only once, no need to flip them. So it will just appear like this as your twin primes. So this is basically what twin prime is and how we can code it. Obviously there are like other ways in which you can try to code it, and this was just a longer way that I felt, okay, it should be fine, long enough, and it has a lot of learning in it, so including the indexing. Thank you.